All right, now we are learning a speech given by the Lubavitcher Rebbe in 1991. And it's about this Shabbat, Nachamu, Shabbat Nachamu. And by the way, if you want to see this, I uploaded it last year's class for the Haftorah of this Shabbat Nachamu. Nachamu means be comforted, Jews. So the Rebbe asks, why does God have to say twice, be comforted, be comforted? If God comforts you, that's enough, right? One time, God is infinite. He says, no, this is coming to show the comfort is going to be a doubled and a redoubled and a redoubled and a redoubled comfort in this world. Especially in a way that everything is going to be permanent and increasing in holiness constantly. That's the idea of the third temple, that it'll be physical in this world, infinite increase, constantly increasing, constantly every moment in good. How this is going to be, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so that's what we said before, that in this Shabbat Nachamu is stressed the unlimitedness of the redemption, the future redemption and complete redemption by means of Moshiach, which is supposed to happen any second. And if it happens right now, it's really late. And there's a special in this year that Shabbat Nachamu comes after the preparation from Erev Shabbat. Erev Shabbat, and it falls, which is the 15th day of Av. Okay, this year it doesn't work out that way. This year it does not work out that way. Shabbat Nachamu of this year comes out on what, the 12th, right? The 12th of Av. I have my calendar somewhere hidden. Oh, here it is. Here it is. This week.
We don't see your
11th.
face.
This year.
Hello?
Shabbat is the 11th day of Av. But when the Rebbe was speaking over there, the day, right, Shabbat fell on the 14th day of Av, and the day afterwards, right, is that correct? No, is that correct? No, I'm sorry, the opposite. The 15th day of Av fell before Shabbat. The Shabbat when the Rebbe was speaking, second, it said that Tisha B'Av fell on Shabbat when the Rebbe was speaking, and the 15th day of Av was Friday, right before Shabbat Nachamu. That's how it was. Okay, what's so special about the 15th day of Av? So, okay, even though the calendar is not the same, but the lesson to be learned is the same. But what happened on the 15th day of Av? It says, there's a Mishnah in the Tainit that says that the 15th day of Av was the happiest day of the year. The 15th day of Av and Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur was when the high priest got forgiveness for all the Jewish people, So that was a happy day. But even more happy in a lot of ways was the 15th day of Av, and it lists all these different reasons. Okay. Behektem, let us start the connection of the 15th day of Av, especially in this when it fell on Friday, but it's not necessary. Like I said, this year it doesn't fall on Friday. When, by the way, does the 15th day of Av? This year it falls on next Wednesday, 15th day of Av. This is connected to the Geula Amitit V'Shlema, the complete redemption in the future. Okay. Let me just say outside. What happened on the 15th day of Av? What happened on the 15th day of Av? it says there were like 5 things that happened, happy things. One of them was the Jewish people, as you know, were sentenced, punished because of the refusal to come into the land of Israel, that they had to wander around in the desert for 40 years. They had to wander around for 40 years. So every year, everyone that was over 60 years old would die. Every Jew that was over 60 years old at the time when they refused to go into the land of Israel, they would die. And every subsequent year, when people reached the age of 60, they would die. How did they know? So they would go out into the desert. Anyone who thought that he was 60 years old, I guess they didn't keep exact records. Anyway, they would go out into the desert. They would dig a grave, and they would lay in the grave. On what day? The 9th day of Av. That's when the spies came back and said, we can't go into Israel, and the Jews refused to enter Israel. That was the 9th day of Av. So they would go out every year, and they would dig graves. Everyone would lay in their grave on the 9th day of Av. The next day, whoever didn't get out of the grave, they knew that he was 60 years old and his time was over. And anyone that was still alive, they knew that he had not yet reached the age of 60. So, okay. The last year, everyone went out, they dug the graves. The next day, everyone was alive. So they thought, well, maybe we made a mistake. Maybe we made a mistake in counting the month, and then maybe it was a cloudy day. So they waited another day. When they finally came to the 15th day of the month and the moon was full, so they said, it's no mistake. We're all going to live. So it was a happy day. Of course, what it meant was it was a happy day because it was revealed that Tisha B'Av, in other words, 6 days earlier, the decree had ended. Okay, but nevertheless, it was a happy day. Another reason that it was a happy day was because it's the middle of the month and the moon is full, and the Jewish people are compared to the moon. And there were other reasons also, but it's not. These are the main reasons that the Rebbe is talking about over here also. That the guards that Yerovam ben Nevat put between the upper part of Israel, the lower part, he took the guards away, and they allowed the people of Beitar to be buried. Okay, but these are the main 2 things: the moon is full, and that the Jews stopped dying in the desert. The 15th day of Av, this is the day when the moon is full. Kaima siora b'shlemusa, sihara b'shlemuta. The moon is full. This indicates at the shlemut, the completion of the Jewish people, because the Jewish people, our calendar goes according to the moon. And the Jewish people are similar to the moon. And the Jewish people are going to be renewed like the moon. It says in the beginning of creation that the moon and the sun were just as light. They had the same power of light, and God made the moon smaller. But in the future, the moon, which is also compared to the Jewish people, and it's going to be like the sun, it'll be shining in the Gula Mitiv Shlema. So that's like the full moon. That's the 15th day of the month. This is when King David, who is going to be the king, the Moshiach, as he is relevant also to the moon, King David, because he's the king. Kingship is the lowest of the spherot that it receives from all the others, just like the moon does. The 15th, so that's one thing. The moon is full. Another thing, the 15th day of the month of Av, Menachem Av, it's called Menachem Av, that it comforts the month of Av. Or we can say Av means our Father God comforts us. Shlemut HaChodesh, this is the completion, the wholesomeness of the month of Av that's called on the name of the Mashiach, Menachem. Menachem is the name of the Mashiach. That's what it says in the Gemara. Menachem is the name of the Mashiach. That was in the book of Sanhedrin. There's a whole paragraphs over there talking about Mashiach. So one of the names of the Mashiach is Menachem. Leidato, his birthday was on this month. It says the Mashiach will be revealed in Tisha B'Av, Kishemit Malei Levana, when the moon is full on the 15th day of the month. Then we know for sure that the Mashiach has already been born. That's the Mazal, that's the zodiac, what is it called? The astrological sign of the lion. Shabo Yavo Aryeh, it says that the lion will come in this month and he'll rebuild the Holy Temple. And so that was the birth of the soul of the Mashiach is on this month, and the revelation of the soul of Mashiach will be on this month, and especially the middle of the month. So that's the middle of the month of the 15th day of Av. This is already showing on the wholesomeness of the Jewish people and the wholesomeness of Mashiach, the revelation of Mashiach. Ubefran, especially when the 15th day of Av falls on Friday, which it does not this year, so I'm going to skip this. The Yesh Loma, we can say that this idea of the 15th day of the month, and especially of every month, and especially the 15th of the month of Av, and especially when it comes on Friday, which it does not this year, I have to say, this shows on the unlimitedness. Okay, that it doesn't fall in this year, it doesn't minimize or detract from the fact that it did fall on Friday back then. This is already 32 years ago. And it was the revelation that was then 32 years ago. It's still here. It's eternal. So it's here now also. Okay. So this shows on the completion, because Shabbat is the day of total rest, no problems. In other words, on Shabbat. That's the whole idea of that the moon is full. Sheshlemot halavana, the wholesomeness of the moon, is by means of this that it receives the light of the sun completely until the ultimate completion, that these two things, the sun and the moon, are joined together, like it says in the future. Vahaya or Lavan, it says that the sun, the light of the moon, will be the light of the sun. Where does it say this? Here we go. It says in Isaiah. Obviously in Isaiah. Huh? Okay. What happened? 1 minute. Oh. Huh? Okay.
Can you hear me?
I don't know. Okay, I see there's something wrong with my things. Okay. I see.
Two doors?
All right, so it says, so that's the whole idea of the 15th day of Av. The 15th day of Av is the birth day of the Moshiach after the exile. Immediately, it says there's a midrash that says that immediately after the temple was destroyed, so someone heard their ox moo, and he said that's a sign that the temple has been destroyed, and he heard his ox moo again. It says that's a sign that the Mashiach has been born. Like it says in the Midrash Razal, that when the ox, or this cow, mooed once, that the holy temple was destroyed. And when the mooed the second time, the Mashiach was born, the savior of the Jewish people was born. The Lord, and not only that, Elashigam Achrei Shenaseh Gadol, Naseh Gadol, Kolel Umiyuchad Gadlus Ruchaniut, that even after it became great, Mishichmo Ulamayla, the Mashiach, it says the Mashiach is going to be from his shoulders and above, higher than all the people, even though this was said about King Saul. But like all the details that it says what a king has to be, how much more so the king Mashiach? He's going to be a king. He's also going to be a teacher. As Nimshach HaChorban, nevertheless, we see that the Mashiach was born, but he was born and he grew up. Nevertheless, we see that the exile is still here. Ad L'Meshech Azman Aroch, it's already 2,000 years. The intention is that there should be, when the redemption does come, it should take in every detail of the exile. Everything that was affected by the exile will be affected by the future redemption. That's like the moon, which is like the exile, the empty moon, and the full moon. They'll be all together. That's the idea of the 15th day of the month. The moon is full. The inyan, the hakol muchan, everything is already prepared for the big meal, like we said with Leviathan and the sheshlemat asuda, the completion of this meal of the, it says the ox and the Leviathan, this fish, And this is going to be the day, this is the wine that was hidden in the beginning of creation. This is the day that's, when Moshiach comes, it's going to be a day that's all Shabbat. And this is by the preparation of Yom Shishi. And when the Rebbe was speaking, Yom Shishi, that was the 15th day of. But Kol Prati, all of the details, this is the completion, unlimited. Like it's stressed in the idea of when God spoke and he created the world, so he said twice that it was good. Tov. In fact, he said it was very good. Tov Milad. We can add on that this thing of being unlimited is also stressed in the service of man that begins from the 15th day of Av. That from the 15th day of Av, it says that from here in Eilich, Mosif Baholech Yosef, you have to add on. It says that the days get shorter, the nights are longer, there's more time of learning Torah. Mechamisha Asarava, the Mosif Lailas, the nights get longer than the days, and we have more time to learn Torah, and we can learn, in addition, the Torah is a good time to learn is at nighttime, especially it used to be a long time ago, that people would only work in the daytime because the roads weren't lit and etc. So the nighttime was the time for learning Torah. Of course, that's not the way really it works. Because the nighttime is the best time for learning Torah, so therefore people only worked in the daytime. The sun only shined in the daytime. However you want to say it, the nighttime is a good time. It's a quiet time. It's a time there's no hustle and bustle. It's a time to learn the Torah. You add life on your life. Kavan, since Shekal Yisrael, all the Jewish people are kosher, and all the Jewish people learn Torah, and all the Jewish people have time set to learn Torah. So therefore, it is given to every single, according to each person, according to his ability, like the first Rebbe of Chabad wrote in his laws of learning Torah. So it's understood that this complete idea of learning the Torah, and why are we talking about learning the Torah? Because from the 15th day of Av, there's more time to learn the Torah. The nights get longer. Therefore, we should learn Torah above any limitation and above any boundaries. In other words, learn more Torah than we want to. You're tired, you don't want to learn Torah. Take a small break, maybe wash off your face, and learn for another 5 minutes, another 10 minutes, another hour. Or go over what you learned. The language of the Torah, like in this week's Torah, B'kol Mildecha, like it says in this week's Torah portion, you should love God with all of your being. We just finished learning that in the Kuti Torah. Me'od shalach, with your being. Akashur im me'od. Me'od means very much. Very much means unlimited. No matter how much you have to learn very much more. Believable, true unlimitedness. Unlimited infiniteness. And this is the preparation to adding on in the true learning Torah, the true unlimitedness of the Torah. Because in the end, what is the Torah? Is ideas. The Torah is just ideas, right? But they're ideas from God. God gave us all these ideas, no matter how mundane they are. But God is creating the world. As mundane as the world is, God is creating it. The same God that's creating the world is creating us, and it's the same God that gave the Torah, but it's a deeper aspect of God. It's a deeper revelation of God in the Torah than in the world. So the Torah can always add life on into the world. No matter how much godliness is revealed in the world, the Torah can always add on. Because the Torah is a deeper level of godliness. And that's what it means when Moshiach comes, it's going to be a new Torah. What does it mean, a new Torah? That we'll be able to add godliness in a higher level of godliness in everything in the world. Al Yedei, by means of this, is made the complete shun of what we said, Yosef Chaim al Chayav, that God will add life to our life. In a way, Shalamayla, which is above any limitation, Chaim Nitzchim, eternal life. Hadgashaya Terah, and a special stress in this is this Shabbat. especially this Shabbat, when it comes like it did back then, that the Rebbe was speaking, Shabbat Nachamu came after the day after the 15th day of Av, in the year Tavshin Nun Aleph. That was the Hebrew date, 1991, but in Hebrew it is 5751. Dober Kamapamim, we've spoken many times. B'tkufa Acharona, that in the last, very recently, Shelafi Kol Simonim, that according to all the signs, we are in the year that the Melech Moshiach is supposed to be revealed. In addition to the fact that the Erev Shabbat, after midday, it already began Tafshin Nun Aleph in Rosh Hashanah. Like it's hinted at the first letters, Tafshin Nun Aleph, Hayatei Shanat Niflaot Ereno. I will show you miracles, Niflaot. Now, our year, we're now 32 years later, but we can, this is the initials of our year are very similar to this. Tafshin Pei Gimel. Here we have Niflot, so we just say Plaot. Pei is the same thing. It will be a year of Plaot. Big miracles you will see. Someone's trying to get in here. Yes. Pelot, and Gimel will be Gilui, revealing. Ereno means to be seen, and Gilui means to be seen. Same thing. So Tia Shana Gilui Pelot. Okay, I just made that up. You can make up whatever you want. But nevertheless, this year is the year, if back then we should have seen miracles, for sure now we have to see miracles. I mean, every year that it gets, that goes by, it's later and later for Moshiach to come. It's not that Moshiach is going to ever give up and say, okay, I tried to come, but you guys, I rang the bell and you just didn't answer, so I just gave up. There's no such thing. Moshiach for sure is going to come. And the Moshiach should have been here a long time ago. What's delaying him? The Rebbe said, I don't understand it myself. It must be we have to do a little bit more. But nevertheless, God is going to do a lot more than what we do. And that's what's hinted at the letters. And the initials of Tav Shin Nun Aleph will Tieh Shanat, a year of miracles I will see. And our year is Tav Shin, will be a year of Plaot, miracles, Giluyim, revealed. Okay. Kamaruma is like it's hinted at in Rosh Tevas in the first letters. Haya Shanat Tivas, Ubepran especially in the course of the year. Haya Teye Shanat Niflot Arenu. This is a year where God will show us miracles, and especially in the course of the year, we did see many amazing miracles. Right, the Iron Curtain fell down. This is when Saddam Hussein shot, 39 very, very powerful missiles into Israel, and amazingly, they did not have any chemical warheads or whatever, or they thought it was going to be chemical warfare or biological warfare. They handed out these gas masks to everybody in Israel. And the Rebbe said, you won't need the gas mask, there's nothing going to happen. And sure enough, they didn't need the gas masks. And sure enough, the Rebbe said there's not going to be any nothing to worry about. Israel is the safest place in the world. And sure enough, that's what happened. So everyone saw the amazing miracles, and everyone saw that the Rebbe was somehow or other attached to the one who made these miracles deeper than everybody else, because he knew what was going on. And in fact, they found out afterwards that the gas mask didn't work anyway, and people died from the gas mask. That was a terrible tragedy, but miracles back then. Shekol echad mehem, each one of them is in a way that's a miracle, which is higher than the miracle before it. A miracle regarding the miracle. I mean, the fact that the Iron Curtain fell down, that was a miracle that I don't think is comparable to anything that ever happened in the history of mankind. That the Iron Curtain just all of a sudden just fell down. There was nothing, and the Rebbe said that that's what was going to happen. He told people that that's what's going to. No one believed in any way that it was even vaguely possible. No one said anything against the Rebbe because they didn't. Those who had spoken out were very embarrassed in the past, so they didn't say anything. And it ended up that just all of a sudden, this government that, I mean, there's no way, it would be very, very difficult to explain how evil and murderous the communist government was and how many people they killed in order to maintain power. And all of a sudden, just one day, the whole thing just fell apart. That's it. Leader stood up and he said, "You're all free. That's it. No more." And this was a miracle that was in a way greater than going out of Egypt. And going out of Egypt, a lot of people had to die. There were the 10 plagues. And the Rebbe was always very pained by the fact that people, no matter who, non-Jews, Jews, that they had to die. And here, nobody died. No one was even hurt. There was not one shot fired. No. The fact of the matter is that there's even bigger miracles going on right now. Even bigger miracles. Because we don't know what the non-Jews, the United Nations, who knows what they're planning and how God foils all their plans. All of a sudden, something else catches their attention, and all of a sudden. In any case, we're living in a time of amazing miracles, but it's not enough. There's a lot of troubles and a lot of problems, a lot of difficulty, a lot of frustration. Kolel, including, says the Rebbe, don't worry about it. There's going to be big miracles, including the big miracle, Shinit Rachesh, that's on these days, that all of the people in the world gathered together in Russia. The Chabad made a gathering in Russia. They gathered many, many places, and especially even in the city of Lubavitcher, unheard of. Right in the time of Stalin, you had 3 Jews together. They were already sent to Siberia. It was already an anti-revolutionary. All of a sudden, in Russia, there was a big, huge meeting of all the Chabad representatives, and there's a lot of Chabad representatives in Russia, including also, and they went there also to pray at the grave of the Rebbes, which are in Lubavitch, and the Tzemach Tzedek, and the Rebbe, the Marash, the 3rd and the 4th Rebbe of Chabad. And also, people went over there to the grave of the Rebbe's father, who was also a tremendously holy person. That the day of the Rebbe's father's passing away is in a few days. It's in like 10, 11 days, the 20th day of Av. And in this, they also went to the main city, Moscow, in order to get advice, to talk, one with each other, to take advice on how there should be more love, more unity, to make good decisions, to add on, how to spread out Torah, how to spread out Judaism in the whole entire country and in the whole world, and to add with more power, more energy, spreading the Torah, and we did that in the whole world. May it be God's will that this meeting that they're going to make, that they were about to make this huge convention in Russia of Chabad, would be tremendously successful in a way that will doubled and redoubled. And amazingly enough, the government of Russia helped tremendously. I had to tell the whole Safa Shalamaila in a way which is above miraculous. In a country, Russia, that fought against everything the previous Rebbe did, put him into jail, wanted to kill him. These amazing miracles, we can see it, the miracles with our own eyes. Al Derech, like it says, like at the 20th day, the same thing as the Rebbe's father. He did the same thing as the previous Rebbe did, spreading out Torah, spreading out the well springs. And now that country itself that was so opposed to Judaism, they are actually hosting and honoring the pupils of the previous Rebbe and the pupils of my father, of the Rebbe's father, and spreading out the Torah outward. This is a big, big miracle. And this will be stressed, and we're going to stop here. this arouses that immediately we should see the biggest miracle of all, the true miracle, namely, like the going out of Egypt. I will show you miracles, the miracles of the future redemption. What is in regard to action? God willing, on Friday, we'll learn this. It could be that maybe after the fast, tomorrow afternoon, it's permissible to learn some things in Torah. I'll ask a Rav over here if it's permissible. Maybe I can finish this class tomorrow and I'll put it up tomorrow in the afternoon. In any case, let's learn now the Yom Yom. Stop share, stop recording.